One of the biggest myths people believe is that success begins with readiness, that one day they'll wake up and magically feel prepared, confident, skilled, and fearless enough to pursue their dreams. That somehow the stars will align, the doubts will vanish, the money will appear, the perfect moment will arrive, and then, and only then, it will be time to begin. But let's be brutally honest, that moment, it rarely comes. Waiting to feel ready is the fastest way to stay stuck. You may sit for months, even years, convincing yourself you're just one more book away, one more seminar away, one more day away from finally being qualified. But while you're waiting to feel ready, life is moving, opportunities are passing, time is being spent, whether you're spending it building your dream or hesitating in fear. Here's the truth. Readiness is not a prerequisite. It's a result. It doesn't show up before the journey starts. It's something that grows as you walk the path. Every courageous step you take builds your confidence. Every action teaches you more than any preparation ever could. You don't get strong by reading about lifting weights. You get strong by lifting them, by stepping under the bar and putting in the reps, even when it's shaky, even when it hurts. The same principle applies to your dream. Experience is your greatest teacher. Momentum is your greatest weapon, and both come from starting, not stalling. Think about anyone who's ever achieved something extraordinary. They didn't wait to be fully equipped. They started where they were, with what they had, and they figured it out along the way. Most breakthroughs didn't happen because someone was perfectly prepared. They happened because someone was brave enough to begin without certainty. Starting before you're ready means embracing discomfort. It means standing in front of the world with your knees shaking and your voice trembling and saying, "I'm doing this anyway." It means recognizing that fear is not a stop sign, it's a signal that you're stepping outside of your comfort zone and into growth. You'll never get to extraordinary without first moving through uncomfortable. The truth is, everything you need to begin is already inside you. Maybe not everything to finish, but everything to start. You've got the desire, you've got the dream, you've got the ability to learn and adapt and stretch. Those are the tools that matter most, and they're already yours. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need a massive budget. You don't need the approval of everyone around you. What you need is action. Action creates clarity, action creates confidence, and most importantly, action creates progress. Every dream you've ever had was born for movement, not perfection. Starting before you're ready means you're willing to be seen starting small. It means you're willing to make mistakes, to learn publicly, to look foolish if that's what it takes. It means choosing purpose over pride, mission over ego. Understand this, there's no such thing as a perfect first step. There's just the next step. And taking that one small step, making that call, sending that email, writing that first page, showing up when it's awkward and hard can change everything. Because motion leads to momentum, and momentum leads to transformation. You don't grow by standing still. You grow by stepping forward even when it's messy, even when it's unclear, even when you're scared out of your mind. Some of the most successful people you've ever heard of started in the dark. They didn't have everything figured out. They weren't geniuses. They weren't even sure it would work, but they acted. They started businesses without investors. They wrote books without publishing deals. They spoke on stages without credentials. They dared to move while they were still becoming. Why not you? Every excuse you've told yourself, not enough time, not enough knowledge, not enough experience, is just a disguised form of fear. And that fear will keep you small if you let it. But here's what's also true. The first version of anything is allowed to be rough. Your first business, your first video, your first song, your first speech, it's supposed to be raw. That's not a flaw. That's how you build your craft. Perfection is a trap that keeps people silent, keeps dreams dormant, keeps gifts hidden. Stop waiting for perfection. Start with permission to try, to stumble, to learn, and to grow. Your dream doesn't need you to be ready. It needs you to be willing, willing to show up, willing to risk, willing to act. The difference between those who make their dreams real and those who don't isn't talent. It's not even luck. It's movement. One person says, "I'll wait." The other says, "I'll go." One spends years planning. The other builds while they move. You've been given the dream for a reason, and your only responsibility is to respond to it. Not with hesitation, but with action. Not with endless preparation, but with boldness. Start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can. The only way to be ready is to begin. Inside every person is a battle. A war between two voices, one pushing you toward the dream, the other pulling you toward the doubt. One whispers possibility, the other screams limitation. One tells you it's possible, the other reminds you of every reason it's not. The outcome of this battle depends on one thing: which voice you feed. Every thought you think is a seed. When you feed your dream, when you think about it, speak about it, visualize it, work toward it, you're watering that seed. You're giving it light, energy, and life. You're making it stronger. You're turning possibility into probability. But when you feed the doubt, when you focus on fear, talk about what might go wrong, replay failures, or listen to the voices telling you you're not enough, you're watering weeds. And weeds grow fast. Weeds choke dreams. The challenge is that doubt has a loud voice. It doesn't wait to be invited. It shows up unannounced. Doubt thrives in silence, in hesitation, in isolation. If you don't actively speak to your dream, doubt will do the talking for you. It will remind you of everything you've failed at. It will exaggerate your weaknesses and minimize your strengths. It will borrow voices from your past teachers, parents, critics, and echo them inside your mind until you start to believe that their lies are your truth. To win the battle, you must become intentional. You must decide what you feed and what you starve. You cannot feed both at once. Every time you say, "I can't," you've just fed your doubt. Every time you say, "I will figure this out," you've fed your dream. Language matters. What you speak becomes what you see. If you constantly speak about limitations, that's all your mind will look for. But if you speak possibility, your brain begins to search for evidence that supports it. It's how the mind works. It filters reality based on the language you use and the beliefs you hold. You cannot build a life of abundance on a foundation of scarcity. You cannot build a dream with a mindset rooted in fear. And you cannot expect greatness if you constantly talk yourself into mediocrity. The words you say to yourself every day are not harmless. They're not background noise. They are commands. They direct your focus. They fuel your actions. They shape your identity. Feeding the dream means putting yourself in environments that reinforce belief. It means surrounding yourself with people who see your potential, not just your problems. It means consuming content that lifts you, teaches you, and reminds you what's possible. Every day, you're either feeding your focus or feeding your fears. You're either building a case for why you can or why you can't. Choose carefully. Doubt often disguises itself as logic. It sounds responsible. It will say things like, "Be realistic," or "Don't get your hopes up." But understand, being realistic never created a breakthrough. Playing it safe never changed the world. Dreams are not realistic. They're meant to stretch you, to challenge what you believe is possible, to make you grow into someone new. You don't need to kill your doubt. You just need to stop feeding it. Stop feeding it by refusing to give your energy to it. Stop repeating the same limiting stories. Stop speaking your fears like facts. Start noticing how often your language shrinks your dream and interrupts it. You are not powerless in the face of doubt. You are not a victim of your thoughts. You are the author. And if the story you're living doesn't empower you, change the script. The dream needs daily fuel, not just in the form of action, but in the form of belief. You must talk to your dream more than you listen to your fear. You must remind yourself who you are every single day, because the world won't do it for you. It will challenge you, doubt you, ignore you, and sometimes even laugh at you, but it's not their job to believe, it's yours. You have to believe in the dream when it's invisible, when it's just an idea, a sketch, a sentence scribbled in a notebook. You have to protect it like it's sacred, because it is. That dream is yours, it's personal, it's a part of you, and no one else will protect it if you don't. Think about a fire. If you don't feed it, it goes out. It doesn't matter how strong the flame once was. If you stop fueling it, the light disappears. Your dream is no different. If you stop feeding it with belief, with effort, with commitment, it fades. And sometimes, when that light fades, it doesn't come back. You may not be where you want to be right now. You may have failed. You may have made mistakes. You may be full of uncertainty, but don't let any of that become the fuel for your doubt. Use it instead as fuel for your determination. Every great story includes obstacles. Every great dreamer has doubted themselves at some point, but they kept feeding the dream even when it was dim, even when it looked impossible, even when they were the only one who believed. You feed the dream by showing up, by doing the work, by saying "not today" to your fear. You feed it by acting like it's already real, by speaking it with conviction, by refusing to let the noise of the world drown out the voice inside you that says there's more. Dreams are powerful. They're inspiring. They light a fire in your soul and give you a reason to get up in the morning. But while dreams may be born from passion, they're built with discipline. Passion gets you excited. Discipline gets you results. It's easy to get fired up for a moment. It's easy to talk about the vision, to imagine what life could be like, to daydream about success. But none of that matters if you don't show up and do the work, especially on the days when the excitement is gone. Your dream needs your discipline like your body needs oxygen. Without it, it can't survive. It doesn't matter how beautiful your vision board is. It doesn't matter how many motivational videos you watch or how many goals you write down in a notebook. If you're not willing to be consistent, to push through resistance, to build habits that support your mission, the dream will stay a fantasy. Discipline is what bridges the gap between intention and execution, between desire and reality. It's not what you do once in a while that matters. It's what you do repeatedly. Greatness isn't about one massive leap, it's about thousands of small, deliberate steps. It's not built overnight. It's carved out day by day, hour by hour, decision by decision. Discipline means showing up even when you don't feel like it. It means doing the hard thing when the easy thing is more comfortable. It means staying committed when motivation disappears, and it will disappear. Motivation is emotional. Discipline is foundational. Motivation depends on how you feel. Discipline depends on who you are. If you rely on feeling inspired to take action, you'll only act when it's convenient. But your dream isn't waiting for convenience. It's waiting for consistency. Discipline is the contract you sign with yourself to show up for your future, no matter what your current circumstances look like. The truth is, you will have days when you don't want to do it. Days when your body is tired, your mind is foggy, your circumstances are heavy. That's when discipline steps in. Discipline says, I don't negotiate with my goals. I follow through because I said I would. That's the kind of mindset that turns dreams into reality. That's the attitude that builds trust in yourself, because nothing builds confidence like knowing you can count on you. Your dream will ask for sacrifice. It will ask you to get up earlier, to stay up later, to say no to distractions, to delay gratification. Discipline is saying yes to the future by saying no to what doesn't serve it. Discipline is walking away from short-term comfort in order to reach long-term purpose. It's doing what you must, not just what you want. There's a reason most people don't achieve what they truly desire. It's not because they aren't capable. It's not because they lack talent or opportunity. It's because they lack the discipline to keep showing up when the path gets hard, when the results are slow, when the applause is gone. Everyone wants the dream. Few are willing to live the discipline required to have it. Discipline is built in the quiet moments, when no one is watching, when there's no reward, when it's just you and the choice. Do I follow through or do I quit? Those moments shape you. They build your character. And your character is what sustains the dream when everything else is shaking. You can't fake discipline. You can't shortcut the process. You can't hustle for a few weeks and expect a lifetime result. Discipline is about becoming the kind of person who does what needs to be done every single day, not perfectly, not without struggle, but with relentless commitment, with a mindset that says, this matters, and I'm not stopping until it's done. The dream will test your patience. It will stretch your limits. It will push you to confront your weaknesses. But discipline gives you the strength to stay the course. It's not glamorous. It's not always exciting. Sometimes it feels boring. But success lives in the boring, in the repetition, in the daily choices that seem small but create massive impact over time. You might not see the results right away. You might wonder if it's working. But discipline doesn't need instant validation. It keeps going. It trusts the process. It understands that progress is often invisible before it becomes undeniable. The dream doesn't belong to the most talented. It belongs to the most committed. You won't always hit the mark. There will be setbacks. There will be failures. But discipline doesn't demand perfection. It demands persistence. It doesn't say, never fall. It says, get back up again and again. Discipline is the inner force that says, even if I stumble, I'm still moving forward. When you live with discipline, you begin to own your time. You take control of your energy. You stop being a slave to mood and start being a master of purpose. You stop reacting and start building. You stop drifting and start directing. Discipline puts your dream on a schedule. It turns a vague hope into a focused pursuit. Dreams need more than desire. They need a system. They need structure. They need a plan backed by action, fueled by discipline. Because without discipline, your dream will remain a beautiful idea with no form. It will live in your mind, but never take shape in your life. There is something inside you that the world has never seen before, a dream, a vision, a message, a unique expression of your purpose that no one else can deliver in the exact way you can. It might be an idea, a song, a book, a business, a movement, whatever it is. It was planted in you for a reason, not to stay hidden, not to be postponed, not to be buried under fear and hesitation. It was given to you to bring to life, to release, to make real. Yet for too many people, that dream never sees the light of day. They wait, they overthink, they listen to doubt. They believe the lie that there's still plenty of time, that they'll do it someday, that the right moment will arrive. But life doesn't promise you someday, and the longer you wait, the quieter that inner voice becomes. The longer you ignore the dream, the heavier the regret grows. Until one day, you realize the opportunity you once had is gone, not because it wasn't possible, but because you didn't act. The most tragic thing isn't a failed dream, it's an unlived one. It's potential that was never activated, talent that was never used, purpose that was never pursued. The cemetery is full of people who had brilliant ideas but never shared them. It's full of people who had stories to tell, innovations to build, love to give, change to spark but didn't because they were too afraid to try. Too afraid to be seen, too afraid to fail, too afraid to start. You are not here just to survive. You are not here to go through the motions, to live small, to keep your gifts locked inside. You are here to give something to the world that only you can give. That's the real weight of your dream. It's not just about what it does for you. It's about what it could do through you for others, for your family, for your community, for someone who's waiting on the very thing you've been too afraid to share. There's someone out there who needs the words you haven't spoken yet, the product you haven't launched yet, the song you haven't written, the vision you've kept to yourself. When you hold back your dream, you don't just rob yourself, you rob others. Your obedience to your own calling could unlock someone else's breakthrough. Your courage could become their blueprint. Your story could be the light that leads someone else out of the dark. That's why you must refuse to die with it inside you. Refuse to carry your dream to the grave. Refuse to let fear be louder than purpose. Refuse to let time pass you by while you wait for guarantees that will never come. Refuse to settle into comfort zones built by other people's expectations. Yes, pursuing your dream will be hard. It will stretch you. It will break you open. It will demand everything you've got. But the alternative, living a life where you never even tried, that's the heavier burden. That's the kind of pain that follows you. Because deep down, you'll always know you were meant for more. You'll always hear that quiet whisper reminding you that you had a shot and didn't take it. The cost of an unlived dream is not just emotional, it's spiritual. It affects your sense of identity. You feel disconnected from yourself because you're not living in alignment with what you know is inside you. You lose confidence. You numb out. You start to accept a version of yourself that feels hollow, like something vital is missing because it is. What's missing is you, the real you, the version of you that stepped up, that took the risk, that bet on their gift, that lived fully. You were not created to play it safe. You were not created to blend in. You were created to shine in the way only you can, and that requires courage. Not because you'll always win, but because the act of showing up is a victory in itself. Even if the path is uncertain, even if the outcome isn't guaranteed, choosing to honor your dream is one of the most powerful things you can ever do. Too often, people spend their whole lives waiting for permission. Permission to speak, permission to lead, permission to become. But the only permission you need is your own. The dream inside you is proof that you were chosen to carry it. And if you were chosen, then you are also equipped, maybe not with everything you think you need, but with everything you need to begin. There is no perfect timing. There is no ideal condition. There is only the decision to move forward while you still have the chance. Time is your most precious resource, and every day you don't act is a day you can't get back. Every day you silence your dream is a day you choose fear over freedom. Every day you hold back, you reinforce the belief that you are not ready when in fact, readiness is something you build through action. You may not feel qualified. You may feel overwhelmed. But the dream isn't asking you to have all the answers. It's asking you to show up, to take the first step, to open your mouth, to trust your gift, to live like it matters because it does. There is a brutal truth that most people spend their lives avoiding. Time is not promised. Not next week, not next year, not even tomorrow. The only moment that belongs to you fully, completely, is the one you're living in right now. And yet, most people treat time like a limitless resource. They postpone their dreams. They delay their goals. They live like there will always be more time to do what matters later. But later is not guaranteed. The clock is ticking, and every second you waste waiting for the perfect time is a second of your life you will never get back. There's always a reason to wait, always a justification to delay action. You might tell yourself you need more money, more clarity, more support. You might convince yourself that conditions have to be just right before you start. But those thoughts are a trap. They sound rational, but they are rooted in fear, and fear has mastered the art of sounding like logic. It disguises hesitation as wisdom, when really, it's just stalling your destiny. The people who accomplish their biggest dreams aren't the ones who had perfect timing. They're the ones who stopped waiting for it. They're the ones who made a decision that now is enough. That whatever they lacked in resources or experience, they would make up for with commitment and courage. Because what matters most isn't what you have, it's what you do with what you have in this moment. You can't control what happened yesterday. You can't relive it. You can't go back and make a different decision. What's done is done, and the future, it hasn't arrived yet. You don't control that either. You only have power in this exact moment. What you choose to do now determines what your tomorrow looks like. Every great outcome is shaped by a small decision made in the present, a decision to get up, a decision to keep going, a decision to stop making excuses, a decision to take the first step. The reason so many people stay stuck is not because they lack potential. It's because they keep outsourcing their power to a future version of themselves. They say, "I'll do it when I feel ready. I'll try when the timing is better. I'll start when the pressure is gone." But that future version never arrives. The only version that can act is the one sitting in your shoes right now. You don't become powerful someday. You become powerful the moment you stop waiting and start moving. Think about how much life slips away in the name of someday. How many times you've said you'll start working out, start writing, start calling people, start building something meaningful, but you didn't. You made the promise but didn't follow through. And over time, those broken promises don't just affect your progress, they erode your self-trust. You start to believe you're someone who can't finish, someone who doesn't follow through, someone who talks big but acts small. That's why reclaiming the present moment is so critical. It's not just about getting results. It's about reclaiming your identity. When you choose to act now, even in a small way, you send a powerful message to yourself that your word matters, that your dream matters, that you are not a victim of time or fear or circumstances. You are in charge of what you do with this moment, and no one else can take that away from you. Now doesn't require perfection. It requires intention. The tiniest step taken now is worth more than a giant step you'll never take in the future. You don't need to fix everything at once. You don't need to map out your entire journey. You just need to do what's in front of you. That email, that phone call, that workout, that hour of work, that one uncomfortable conversation. You don't climb a mountain by jumping to the top. You climb it one step at a time, and the first one must happen now. There is urgency in your dream, whether you feel it or not. Life moves fast. Time won't pause for you to catch up. You cannot afford to sleep on the purpose inside you. The world is shifting. The opportunities of today may not be available tomorrow. Waiting not only costs you time, it can cost you alignment, growth, relationships, influence, and fulfillment. Time is not generous with those who waste it. And yet, right now, you have everything you need to begin. Not everything to finish, but everything to begin. You have the breath in your lungs, the idea in your heart, the decision in your hands. That's enough. That's always enough. The moment you recognize the power of now is the moment you stop being a prisoner to procrastination. You start realizing that urgency doesn't mean pressure, it means purpose. When you take ownership of this moment, you take ownership of your life. Not because everything changes instantly, but because you change. You become someone who acts, someone who moves forward, someone who takes their future seriously by respecting the present. And that shift from passive to active, from someday to now, is where everything begins. Your dream isn't waiting for the right moment. It's waiting for you to decide, to commit, to rise. You've seen the truth. Readiness is a myth. Doubt is a choice. Discipline is your fuel. Your dream is a responsibility. And time is a gift you only get once. The power to change your life was never in some distant future. It has always lived in your next decision, your next action, your next breath. You don't need more time. You don't need more approval. You don't need everything to make sense. You need to believe that what's inside you is worth fighting for, and that the cost of standing still is far greater than the fear of moving forward. The world doesn't need another person talking about what they're going to do. The world needs someone who's bold enough to do it. Let that be you, not someday, not later, now.